Hello world, Justin Tucker here, moving forward with this tutorial series. In this video I hope to accomplish going into the manage display of each of the content types and changing the event display which we had made for in another tutorial. Actually, the event here is being managed by a view and a calendar display. However, the hotel and lodging and some other ones, and I think after some giving some thought to it, I think I'm going to just make these lay out under the event display as simple as possible, just to keep this example clean. So pretty much this exercise is you're going to watch me go into the event display of each content type and kind of lay it out the way I think it needs to be clean and usable, at least at this point. So let's see here. I'm going to tell these labels to hide. I wish Drupal would just by default hide the label, because I rarely use it. I guess we'll, kind of show all this information. Well, I'm going to go ahead and use Sutro again. This layout provided by Display Suite and Panels Extra Layout. This will make the referenced registration event linkable. This will be a navigation benefit for the user to get back to the main convention that they're buying the ticket for. This also helps if you have more than one convention or registration event going on at the same time. All right, I'll go ahead and save that. And moving on to my next one, which would be the meals product display. On the products, I've decided I'm just going to show these as a link. So this is probably easier done through views if you just want to show the title and a link. But we've already got it set up to do it through the manage display on the content type. So I'll go ahead and just continue down that path, but a much more simple version of it. So again, if I'm just going to provide a link to the user to go to a dedicated page to engage with this product and its options, then pretty much I just need to provide the title and link it and save it. But what else this does is it gets you set up again for more complicated layouts if you want them, because it's already geared in with display types in this Manage Display tab on this content type. Meetings and minutes, I'll do the same thing. Just make it a simple link. Maybe offer the file upload as well. So again, there's another video tutorial where I put Sutro in all these, and here I am changing my mind to Boxton, making it simple. You can see it asks, where do you want this stuff to go? Clearly this is kind of a funnel and bottleneck, meaning there are no options over here for it to go except one place, which if I hit save should just pipe it over there anyway. Well, actually I don't know if I left the registration event on the other content type. Yeah, I'll go ahead and leave it like this for now. Now always keep in mind your formatter options. Each field type will have different formatter options, and different modules, of course, could add options depending on what that module is. And I probably should go back to our main page and kind of see what this is starting to look like, but I'm just going to plow through the rest of these. Again, I don't think I added in, oops, no, manage display. Oh, yeah, I did. Okay. That was the meal product display. Oh, you know what? I'm being stupid here. This is for the event display, so we don't need a reference back like I was adding on those other two. That would be on the main page of that content type. So sorry, let me kind of fix that. Photo gallery is being controlled a different way. Alright, so under the meal here, event display, I think we just addressed that. Make sure everything's good to go. It is. Under the meeting and minutes, event display. And be sure you choose event display. It's easy to start configuring another display type and forget these exist up here. Yeah, don't need this. Really probably just want the title and the file if we're uploading the meetings and minutes as a file. If that's even applicable, again, that's probably more useful as a global thing, as part of the organization versus a per event item, but you can use it either way. Okay, so this is the registration event. Again, this is a complicated form, so I'm of the opinion to make this as clean and as simple as possible with basically just a linkable title and maybe some teaser text. Yeah, we'll go with that for now. Registration event material. So again, this is going to be another opportunity to engage with files to download. Yeah, we're on event display. Yeah, we probably want the title up there of what it is, maybe a brief description. This is redundant because we'll be on the event page when we see this. The material type. Yeah, sure. Don't need to make this linkable. It's offering a link because it's a taxonomy term. And if you made it linkable, it'd take you to a page of all other material in the site that had that tagged. So we don't really need to use it that way. I'll say table of files because I think that looks a little nicer. And we'll just kind of do that for now. I'm sorry, earlier when I said registration event and configured the event display like I just did here, I meant to do that on the registration product display. Our registration event is kind of what all this is taking place on, so we really don't even need this this event display right here on this guy. So I'm actually going to take that off once I figure out where I'm going here. Okay, and now it's gone because that's not really going to be applicable to that. These displays are for this particular instances or particular instances of this content type. So glad I caught that. So we'll go into the event display of registration product. This is the thing I think probably just needs to be title and a linkable title and maybe teaser. throw the read more link in there, kind of see what that does for us. I'll say trimmed again, 600 is fine. Save that. Registration event material. Yep, I think we just did that a second ago. The t-shirt or the shirt product display. I'm going to do it kind of like I did with the registration products. Just give it a title, body, and read more for now. Again, doing this and selecting none makes everything go disabled, which is actually what I want. So I want to bring in less fields than there are to choose from. Right. Order these. All right, going into the sponsor event display. Now we get into some different ideas here because sponsors, speakers, and vendors may have images. You may want to utilize that image field. So we'll go ahead and do that in our example here. So I'll leave this as Sutro, which gives us this header, footer, left, right, sidebar idea. The body, I don't know. We'll say footer. Contact number, address, maybe sponsor type goes under the image, and title will go in the header. Image, we don't need a label. Sponsor type, maybe say inline. URL to me is self-explanatory. Same with contact numbers. Same with address, and we'll leave that. We'll kind of do the same idea, I think, with vendor and speakers. So vendor, I think we actually kind of got this idea going. Yep, kind of looks that way. Is his address, contact URL? Nope, address, contact URL. Let's do that. And let's check our speaker event display, and we need to do this real quick with the speaker, it looks like. Just good old button clicking here. Throw the title in the header. Are these linkable? Let's make these linkable. Sorry if I'm kind of going through this quick. So I'm going to make the titles of all these guys linkable. And I'm going to make sure the body doesn't go over a certain limit. And 600 is the default. We'll just leave it at that for now. Okay. Now that we've altered all of these displays, our node 1 here, our fictitious event, should be looking different. And it does. Still incredibly ugly. On the images, okay. So, yeah, on the images for the speaker, sponsor, and vendors, in another video we talked about image presets, kind of briefly went over that, and I'm going to apply those here. And just in case our users are click happy, we'll make it linkable. Always remember to go to the bottom and click Save. It's easy to think that you're done after you click Update on the gearbox. All right. Let's refresh this. Is this the hotel? Okay, this is the hotel. So we've got an image preset to deal with that. Yep, original image, that's why it's huge. We'll just refresh again. Okay, so things look a bit different. I'm going to make sure each one of these view displays has a proper label or a title. So I'm going to call this registration packages. Make sure all these other ones have an appropriate title to them. I'm calling these individual shirts to kind of touch on the concept of packages that, you know, maybe if you buy the registration package here of, you know, membership early bird, then, you know, that includes a t-shirt, for example, but we also want to have the ability to buy t-shirts on their own. Downloadable materials, so and this will help kind of me lay things out. I'm just going to call this event schedule. You know, there's a bit of maybe some confusing overlap and semantics here because I'm calling registration event a very, you know, I thought that was a generic enough name to mean convention or conference or whatever else you call it. Basically, it's an event that requires registration. And this event here was basically just to make a content type that will show up on a calendar. So if we use these two ideas together, then you could use this event as sub-events for the registration event, which could basically be used as the event schedule. So that's what I'm doing here. The other way you could use this event is just as a global site calendar that has nothing to do with the specific registration event, convention, or conference that it belongs to. Meaning it doesn't have to belong to an event. It could just be a standalone event, and the calendar shows elsewhere on the site. So since we're kind of using it as a event schedule in this example, we'll go ahead and keep it that way. And upcoming event list. Okay, so hit save. And if we go back, it's now time, I think, to kind of organize this better. So to get into that, we go back to our panel, which is basically responsible for where all this stuff is laid out. So here's basically our calendar. How do I want to do this? Let's maybe do that. We'll put the full content to the left. Put the list under the events like it was. We'll leave this up here. Logged out users won't be able to see the links. Let's see. I don't know. Maybe we want to toy with the idea of on the left-hand side is everything that you can purchase, and on the right-hand side is the speaker sponsors and vendors. Maybe that was a good structure to try and keep the speakers and sponsors and vendors in the view of the user when they have to scroll to get to the links of the actual products. Anyway, that's the theory we're going with. So yeah, let's bring down shirts, bring down. So these are the things that we can buy. Lodging information. Maybe we'll put under the full content, photo galleries under that. And again, this may be something that happens after the event's over. That's fine though. Downloadable material. Maybe under here for now. We'll see what this looks like. It's probably not going to jive too well, but. Oh, and here's our all content view. So, and we'll leave that there for now. Kind of see what this gives us. Let me just take this image label off. And other labels. Okay, so it's kind of what a user would see in this format so far is, you know, they wouldn't see the links, so they would see the event logo. You could kind of see the upcoming event list. Here would be the calendar. Below that is the lodging information as we've put it in, the downloadable material. Photo galleries for the event, which I am going to go into that real quick and give it a different preset. Or I guess I could just do this and then tell this image to use the preset of 300 by 300. The reason I said the reason I said 350 here is to give room for the title, but we'll see how it wants to pan out. Let's maybe make the title an H2. Again, this is under the style settings. Each one of these has different options and could honestly probably constitute the different video per section to go into the depth of it all. So here we have it. There's our photo galleries. I'm sorry, this photo gallery is still bothering me. I'm going to tell it to align left, not center. So items in the list, contents of the list. Let's say left on that. Okay, maybe I read that completely wrong. Looks like I did. There we go. And then here's our registration packages. And again, the idea is just so that they can click this link and get to the page to fill out the information. And to me, this is where the next video is probably going to pick up. We now need to, we basically spent this video dealing with the event display. We now need to talk about the default display of each content type, or each content type that we're actually going to be on the page with. So, for example, one thing I would do here to kind of start this concept is bring up the referenced event to the top. Maybe kind of put the price down there, registration type. Oh yeah, this idea was to see if we could harp on the early bird versus late. I mean, the obvious easy way to handle this is you create a bunch of products, a handful for early, a handful for late, and you just disable the early birds when it's over and enable the late products when it's time for them to be live. That requires someone to be Johnny on the spot, obviously, but you could still look at some ways to automate that, like on the stroke of midnight, that brings in the different behavior and disables this set of products, enables this set of products. So not sure if I'm going to go into that, because again, the simple answer is just disable your early bird products when the time has passed and create or enable the late registration products when the time is right. And I'll kind of show you an example of that. So actually, based on everything I just said there, I'm going to tell this guy to hide. So this allows me to get quickly back to the membership registration. But let's say we're still in the early bird registration. What I'm basically saying here is, we've got all our products, everything's good to go, and we're just going to say, let's not publish you yet. So that when we go back here, we just have the one that is available. And I should probably move these up. I'm going to move. I'm probably going to change my mind a lot here. I apologize, but this is kind of a fluid exercise. Since these are the items that bring in the revenue and that you want people to really engage with, there's probably going to be a good argument to bring those to the top, bring those above the fold, bring those to where the user can engage with them quickly and early on. Maybe the same argument with the speakers, sponsors, and vendors. Let's bring them up, honor them, put them by the event registration. Sorry, the registration event they're a part of. Maybe the photo gallery, being a fun piece, goes to at the bottom, for example. So here's how that kind of looks differently now. And just to show you a few other things on how we could maybe title these sections a little bit better. Let's see, upcoming event list. Well, let's go back into our panel. You can kind of, another way to add content is just new custom content. And you can just kind of, say, something along these lines. Choose full HTML so I can do more. Make that an H1 tag. And we'll put this at the top here, and you'll see the effect it gives. Kind of labels this area. Registration, purchase options, and then we have that information under it. Probably want to put the list under that, and maybe the downloadable material for the convention under the actual convention information. And so this should reflect those changes. So I'm trying to think if there's a better way to do the speaker, sponsors, and vendors. Another way to maybe do this, provided you had kind of an even distribution of those things, which may not always be the case. I don't know, this is on the left side, it just kind of goes down. Okay, and so as you can see, we are successfully manipulating the way things are laid out through the managed display and moving things around on the panel. And we're getting to be about a half-hour video. That is probably long enough for this stuff. We'll probably move on into, what does it look like when I do want to buy a registration membership or a t-shirt or a meal. Well, naturally it's going to take us to that page. So we need to talk about making this page look as good as it can and be as functional to the user as it can. Like I was showing, having this up here in linkable is just kind of a quick, easy way to get back to the conference that it's a part of. Go to the meal options, there's that. Need to add in the link to get back. And we'll be adding in probably a sidebar here, hopefully soon, with like a shopping cart block, so that as you add things to the cart, it will begin to aggregate like normal cart functions do. Same with vendors and speakers and all of these content types. We kind of need to go make considerations for when we're on the actual page. What does the user see? What's their experience going to be? That's right. On the photo galleries, each one of these represents a bucket of images. That's how we configured this. So this looks way different than it did. It's a little bit more cleaned up. Obviously, this template we're using is better defined as a lack of style, and so I understand this is not visually appealing. I'll see about putting a different template on it later, maybe, just so that we can complete that thought and make it look pretty. But really, the scope of this exercise is to get into the nitty-gritty of how Drupal works, connects together, and how you can use the different areas and the admin to control the layout. And I'll just finish off here by reminding that there are more than one ways to achieve what I'm showing you. So there's many different ways to do it. This is by no means the only way, but I think I have gone through enough different ways to give you a variety of a lot of different tools and hopefully illustrate how you can put them together and use them as you see fit. So if you guys like these videos, please subscribe. Otherwise, I will leave this video here and see you on the next one. Thanks. Bye-bye.